One Wisconsin Now, which is a liberal advocacy group, they have found that the Walton family, which of course owns Wal-Mart, that their fortune is equal to the wealth of the bottom 42% of Americans combined. That is absolutely incredible. Let's take a look. As of May 2013, Walmart had $469 billion in sales with 2.2 million employees, including 1.3 million in the United States. Walmart is owned by stockholders, but the Walton family has control of the company with about half of the shares. In 2010, the wealth of the 6 Walton family heirs was $89.5 billion, which is 22% higher than 2007, so they're doing all right. The median wealth of the American families in 2010 was $77,300, nearly 39% lower than 2007. And the Walton family wealth in 2010 was as large as the wealth of the bottom 48.8 million families in the U.S., or 41.5% of all American families. And then just one final number on this. The Forbes 400 list in 2013 says that the Waltons family wealth has grown to $144.7 billion. Okay, now I don't begrudge anyone's success. I think it is the... I had a feeling you do. No, I don't begrudge anyone's success. I believe it is the American dream to build a business and to make money and reap the rewards of your hard work and all that. But this is completely out of control.
It is out of control. I don't know how they make ends meet. I mean, they they can't pay their employees a living wage. How would they do that? I mean, they just don't have enough money. They're not making enough revenue. I read a Facebook post today from one of my libertarian friends, right? And he made an argument that he hates minimum wage. He thinks we should get rid of minimum wage altogether. But then he made the argument that Walmart employees, you know, with what they do as a living, do they deserve to make more money? And I commented back to him and I said, yeah, fucker, they do deserve to make more money. When we are subsidizing them, okay? When we are subsidizing the health care and the food of people that are working full time, we have a problem. Why should taxpayers have to provide government programs for people that are already working 40+ hours a week? That doesn't make any sense at all. It's coming out of our pockets when it should be coming out of the Walton family's pockets. It should be coming out of the shareholders' pockets. We have a system right now that is so broken. The idea that we have companies that refuse to pay their employees a living wage is problematic. We need to increase the minimum wage. Companies are not going to do that themselves because they have a profit motive, they are immoral, and they don't give a shit about anything other than making money.
I don't think they're immoral. I think they're amoral.
Okay, amoral. That's perfect.
And here's the thing about, and it's not just about the Walton family, it's about our entire system. We have become a nation of hoarders.
Yes.
And at the same time that the capitalist consumerist model is based on the untenable premise that we have unlimited natural resources. At the same time, we've built in the constant fear of scarcity, so that we are raised to believe you have to hold on to whatever you've got. And it's all up to you because the government's, no one's going to step in, no one's going to help you. It's all up to you. So the Walton family, I can't blame them for being insane. They are at the very top of the ladder in an insane system that is constantly telling them that everybody wants to take away their money.
No, I disagree with you. I do begrudge them.
I begrudge them. I just don't blame them for their madness.
I totally blame them for their madness. I understand that there is an incentive to make as much money as possible, but as a person, as a corporation, as a company, right, it is amoral. Like, you want to make as much money as possible, but how do the members of that family look at all of these people that are living in poverty, their own employees, and live with themselves?
I think what they would argue is that in all the estate, well, first off, they probably say they give a lot to charity, fine, okay, and whatever they give is a tiny pittance of course, what they really have. But I think what they would also say is, well, we also employ a zillion people at our estates, and that somehow that by them living like kings, and I don't know how each one of the 6 of them live, but I'm assuming,
sure they live like
I'm
kings.
sure they're doing all right. Yeah, better than kings actually. But so I think that that's what they'd argue, that they're they believe in trickle down because it's nice to believe in trickle down when you're on the top.
But it's not trickling down. Again, these people are working full-time jobs and they're still living in poverty. That's not right.
I definitely agree with you. I mean, that we should increase the minimum wage. That there should be a forced redistribution of wealth that is built into the system. And that the Reagan premise that, I for one am tired of being trickled on.
We're on the other side of the trickle.
That is not how I choose how I would choose to live given the options. Yeah. But I think that while they have been indoctrinated into a world view as strongly as I, as a left-leaning liberal, have, and they genuinely believe that once you start giving up the wealth, boy, you're going to wind up just being equal to everybody else.
Right. And that would be so terrible.
In their minds, that would be the most horrible thing ever, because they see how the people live who they underpay, and they don't want to be that.
Okay, so then what is actually the better system? Because we talk about this on the Young Turks all the time, and I really believe that income inequality is going to be the next real issue of the next 10 years, and we're seeing that already with the Occupy movements and the 1% and all that. But what really is the better system? I guess you could argue maybe that some of the Nordic countries that have money now and that are redistributing to their people, but they're homogeneous societies that don't have all the immigration issues that there's so much difference between the way America operates and the way, what would be the better?
You regulate capitalism, okay? We have this issue with deregulation. We have this issue with acting as though our employees, our middle class, is not important to our economy. You want a thriving economy, you need a strong middle class. Why did we forget that all of a sudden, right? I mean, this argument keeps getting made about, oh, well, if you increase the minimum wage, all of these companies are going to get rid of the majority of their employees. Really? If you increase the minimum wage, you have a stronger middle class that buys your product.
Right, they have more money, they have more money to spend.
It's simple supply and demand, right? And you are not going to refuse to hire more employees because you don't want to pay them a living wage. If you have people coming into your store and buying your product, you have to deal with that demand. You have to hire more people to shell out more of your product.
This is the myth of supply side economics, that you build at the top and then there'll be, it makes no sense. But even what you're describing comes from the assumption of a consumerist base. That we just have to have people buying more stuff and then everything will be fine. As long as everyone's buying things, everything will be fine, which again assumes unlimited natural resources. It assumes constant production and built-in obsolescence and all that nonsense. If you ask me, the way ultimately it should work is that feudalism evolves into capitalism. Capitalism ultimately creates enough wealth that it can evolve into socialism so that the basic needs of everybody are covered. I don't believe that the pursuit of happiness can begin until the pursuit of lunch is covered. And I think that humanity should be able to live in the wealthiest time in history. Humanity should be able to live without fear of hunger, without fear of the cold, without fear of a medical emergency, that the basic human needs should be taken care of. And then we can begin to make decisions about how we want to spend our national resources and not just be dealing with how do we keep everyone from starving.
Yeah. My final thought on this is just, that not only is the income inequality a problem, but I also think that places like Walmart, they take away something that's so important to the American dream, which is they close all these mom and pop stores, all these people that want to own their own business and build the very things that the Waltons have, right? And then they close all of them, and then you get all these people that are working for giant corporations that barely pay them, and then it affects their happiness, and then they get on the prescription drug. It's such a self-fulfilling prophecy. Bring us home.
I have to quote George Carlin on this one.
Yeah.
They call it the American dream because to believe in it, you have to be asleep.